I'm excited for the opportunity to see ST40 in its full glory operating and trying to achieve the goal of 100 million degrees.
ST40, we're at the final throes of the build process at the moment. It's been over a year since the last time we were actually testing, so we've been through the disassembly, the build process, and we're coming up to commissioning at the moment.
In recent months, we've installed what you see behind here, the BioShield and several power supplies. We've been detailing all the power connections to the coils of ST40. We've helped do the installation of things like fibre optic networks, all communication systems to all the different peripheral equipment. We're now in a stage where we're in the final testing.
As the Programme Manager, I'm here to make sure that there's collaboration across the various projects on the programme. So we have about 10 projects at the moment working towards the same goal. So I'm here really to make sure that they're integrated so we can achieve the result, which for us obviously is the 100 million degrees C.
You can see there's some dangling cables which will need to be installed, and they will be installed in the next week or so. And some nice person has put our target up on the top of 100 million degrees. We've done obviously the BioShield and many upgrades with power supplies, liquid nitrogen. We are now going to be in a stage where we will be testing first of all the power supplies. So we will turn on merge compression, push a power supply. We'll then be going through testing all the poloidal type power supplies, making sure that they're synchronized with the control systems and getting back to a point where we had a previous plasma. We then need to operate the toroidal field power supply. We'll check all the telemetry and control signals for that system. This will be the first time that the toroidal field will be run with liquid nitrogen. And so we have the opportunity now to increase the current from our previous operations of around about 100 kiloamps to now the maximum of potentially 250,000 amps. We want to increase the toroidal field to around about 3 Tesla. So this will be the highest field for a spherical Tokamak. This is the critical analysis which was done to achieve 100 million degrees. We've now installed every major power supply for ST40, and we're now into the regime of this year testing all those systems, which will be really quite exciting.
The complexity from the 50 million campaign to 100 million campaign has increased massively. We've got lots more equipment in here. We've got more and more diagnostics and more beam injectors.
All 3 neutral beams, so the RFX, the DMBI and the HMBI, which is at the other end, they'll all be coming online with all the power supply systems. That will be in the next couple of weeks, and we should be in the control room operations period of that and testing all these systems in parallel with each other.
The COVID pandemic hitting while we're trying to build the ST40 device and trying to build a BioShield in a confined space with delicate instruments has been a real headwind. That's a no-brainer. It's been very hard for the company, as for everybody. Health and safety has been paramount.
There have been many challenges. The one is trying to keep people on site who need to do all the installations. So we have a good regime of making sure that all the technicians and the onboard engineers can get onto the facility and continue the work.
If you can work remotely, you have been. So for that means communications had to be really important for those people that are off site, talking to those people that are on site. The COVID testing has been fantastic, so we get tested weekly. That's been really good for the guys and girls on site. What's been really difficult is we've had to plan COVID tests for any third party that has to come in to help contribute to the ST40 and its parts. So that's been quite an interesting obstacle. Some of the companies we deal with have had obviously the same crisis to deal with, and some of the parts have been delayed. Some of our suppliers have had to shut down for periods of time, and that meant parts aren't going to be coming in on time, so we've had to replan to do that as well. One
of the tasks we try and do is to make sure that if we don't have something in place, we have an alternative measure that we can install.
And obviously as well, we're standing by the BioShield. That has had a capacity of 8 people at any one time to do with health and safety and social distancing. I know you've been around in there today, and the space is really, really limited. So if you think you've got diagnostic technicians, you've got electricians, you've got the mechanical guys, and they're all trying to vie around the same space. So that capacity has been really limiting.
We are doing different methods of technicians inside the BioShield, either in the mornings or the evenings.
What we've had to do as a team is come up with a 3-shift pattern to get 8 plus 8 plus 8, if you like, so get to 24 people working in any one day as opposed to the 8. And we've had to do that really just to try and stand still with the schedule. The last thing we've done as well, we have had to replan. I think we have had to add about 2 or 3 months to the schedule due to COVID, and I'm not surprised by that.
The progress on ST40, it has been extremely challenging. Building a device from scratch up until what we have now. I'm particularly proud of the team that we have here. They are both male and female engineers, technicians, extremely good at working with each other under several difficult circumstances with COVID and tight spaces and with the tight deadlines. Working with the physics team as well, and the controls team and the design engineers to get built what we have here today has been an excellent achievement. But all in all, I think for ST40, I think the guys have done an extremely good job to install the system as to where it stands today.